Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan with a hot take request. Tony D and Little Joan are going to take on sports ball. Yeah, I'm going to talk about sports, which I know nothing about. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links in the description. Pineys 1 through 7, Comedy Horror in South Jersey. Thank you for supporting the channel and voting me up. This will be just like my regular views on politics. Except it'll also include sports, so I can be wrong on two different things. Anywho, the NBA recommends players and staff. This is by request, by the way. By request. I'm doing this by request. So you forced me. You forced me to do this because you requested it. And this is what the channel is. Sometimes I do request. I do this one because I think I could make this one time. One time I could do sports. NBA recommends players and staff receive COVID boosters or face game day testing. Okay, so what? Game day testing? That's going to be the problem of the NBA. Can I even discuss this without getting banned off of YouTube? YouTube, the inventor of the PCR test, the gold standard in COVID testing, said in an interview that the PCR test was not a good metric of COVID. On top of the fact that the CDC changed the metrics of the test. So if I was in the NBA and didn't want to get a jab, I would just get the test. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to get a false positive and have to sit out a game and I guess lose some money. But that's, the NBA. And then I think down the road, you're going to be able to sue them because this is silly. It's really silly. You're talking about professional athletes. Why is this guy wearing a mask? He's in the best health of his life. He's on the court, at least in this picture, by himself. It just seems silly. Silly. Raiders released Damon Arnett after video appears to show him holding guns threatening to kill someone. NFL Network also reported Arnett crashed 4 rental cars within roughly a month during his rookie year. Yeah, that sounds like a reason to get rid of a dude. This is what they should be doing. Enforcing this kind of behavior. No, this is unacceptable. I mean, you're a professional football player, dude. You're making all kinds of money. You don't need to do this stuff. And if you're doing this, there's something wrong with you, in my view. RT. America is tired of woke. Conservatives gloat as Braves win World Series after Atlanta was stripped of All-Star game. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Although, oddly, the Georgia State just got Remington to move there. They're going to move their operations down into Georgia. But yeah, I mean, getting rid of the All-Star game was one of the dumbest things Georgia ever did. Atlanta or Georgia. I guess it was it Atlanta or Georgia? I guess it was Atlanta. Atlanta was stripped of it. It was probably more Atlanta's, I'm guessing, because really the center of wokeness is in our major cities. Because people there are very, very stupid. Continuing. Tiki Barber barely made it to the starting line of the New York City Marathon in time. Now, Tiki is on the Giants. It seems unfair, or he was on the Giants. Seems unfair that a professional athlete would run in a marathon. It seems like, to me, he would win, right? I don't know much about him. I don't know how long he's been out. How old is he? Does it say? It doesn't say. Seems to me a guy who's a professional athlete would just murder people in a marathon, but maybe he's just staying healthy. Maybe it's just a fun thing for him. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other people. Obviously, he didn't win, or I think that would be news. It's always a guy, isn't it always a guy from, like, Kenya who wins these things? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, liar, Aaron Rodgers allowed to keep playing while Kaepernick remains blacklisted. I don't think... you can call Aaron Rodgers a lot of things. You can disagree with his views, but I don't think he's lying about them. As for Colin Kaepernick, Oh, I think he's a liar. I think Colin Kaepernick's way more of a liar than Aaron Rodgers will ever be, because I think Colin Kaepernick's entire persona is a lie. You know, oh, I'm so put upon because I'm black, even though I grew up with white parents in a rich neighborhood and I'm rich. Like, that to me is a way bigger lie than Aaron Rodgers. So I'm a little disappointed in Kareem. I mean, I've always been a fan. I think ultimately he's a nice guy, but I think he's wrong on this. Jets won't play Zach Wilson until he's fully healthy. He had a knee injury. And, I don't know anything about sports. The amount of stuff I know about sports would fit on a matchbook cover, and you'd still have room to write down the names of all the women Tiger Woods banged behind his wife's back. But even I know the Jets suck, so what's the difference? Continuing, Howard Stern would throw Aaron Rodgers out of the NFL so fast. It seems to chart the continued decline of Howard's attempt to get relevant again. Like, are you just going to keep insulting people until somebody picks up the news story? And maybe it's because Howard's older and he's still caught in the old paradigm. You know, it's weird too, because Howard early on, the Stern Show had a great forum, great message board. And the thing that was great about it is people would say anything. And that was right around the time, I think it was peak message board, you would say. And a lot of people got on board with the message board, and they would just say anything. And of course, there was a lot of crazy stuff, spicy, salty language. But, the Stern fans, much to their credit, would often say, hey, man, don't say that stuff, or, that's not right, or, they would get rid of those people in their own way. So it was almost a self-policing thing, because they were so loyal to Howard, they wouldn't want the message board to reflect badly on him, I think. And that's what I really loved about the Stern fandom for a long time. I was part of it, and now it just seems like Howard's kind of past his prime, and, with this vaccine thing, he's on the wrong side of it, in my view. So, and jumping on this bandwagon just seems very egregious. Seems egregious, Joan. Don't you agree? Don't you agree, little dog? You're so sweet. But moving on. We respect his rights. State Farm defies the wokes, or the woke-tards, as I would call them, stands by Aaron Rodgers. Jake from State Farm won't have to worry about doing any commercials with anyone else because Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere. This is big, I think, because companies are finally realizing, why are we listening to these idiots on Twitter? These twidiots are losing us money. They're not good customers. All they do is complain. Let's ignore them. And now finally have a big company coming out and saying, you know what? F those people. Aaron Rodgers is more interesting and valuable to us than a bunch of morons on the internet who don't, as far as we could tell, buy our product. And I would suggest that they don't. These people will complain about anything. Even if you listen to their demands, they'll still complain. It's not about changing anything. Again, it's part of the ideology. Go to listen to news discourses and James Lindsay, and it'll tell you it's about stripping down everything, deconstruct it all, then give the power to the woke-tards, and then they'll fix everything. They don't know how they're going to do it, and they admit that in their literature. They don't know what they're doing. But the solution, they believe, will reveal itself once you deconstruct everything else. Okay, Joe, I'll put you down. Here you go. Go do whatever it is you do. Every time. Can't just sit for one video. The sports fans are very disappointed, Joe. So yeah, good on State Farm. Maybe I'll move my car insurance there. Aaron Rodgers finds defender and ex-NHL star Mike Fisher. It's about control over our lives. Carrie Underwood's husband appeared to be one of the few defenders of the Packers quarterback. based. Yeah, and the NHL overall isn't very woke. I don't think they got into the whole Black Lives Matter thing. And that was, as I said in a few of the news blasts, I know so many sports fans, they're just done with baseball and football because of Black Lives Matter. Specifically because of that. They don't need politics in their sports. That's not why they watch it. They absolutely, it would be like, interrupting the game to make you do those things your wife wants you to do. You might as well stab them in the foot. They'd rather have that than listen to Black Lives Matter or politics or their wives. They're there to watch football. Football. Halftime games are horrible enough. They tolerate them, but they would want to watch more football. Football. And baseball. And sports. So, good on Mike. 5 deadly potential criminal acts in sports media cared less about than Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure there's many more, but these are probably the recent ones. So, the first one is former Raiders player Harry Ruggs III. Last week, Ruggs crashed his Corvette Stingray into the back of a 23-year-old woman's SUV and killed her. Oh, but, Aaron Rodgers has an opinion, therefore. Last week, video of another Raiders player emerged in which he appeared. He was threatening someone with a gun. We talked about that one, Damon Arnett. Deshaun Watson, accused of 22 sexual assaults. The media reports that Watson is accused of alleged crimes and otherwise continues to report on his NFL career and discussions of him being traded by the Houston Texans. Kansas City Chiefs Tyreek Hill had years of legal troubles about which the righteous scribes of the sports media has not been very interested. Hill was arrested and charged with domestic assault and child abuse, but the media is more interested in his playing rather than his legal problems. A lot of money in sports. Finally, there is news that the treatment of former Washington's football team player Darius Guice, who was arrested in August on domestic violence charges. Washington quickly released Guice. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But the media has only been interested in enough in his case to give the story the barest treatment. It's just like regular news, right? If you have the right politics, if you're connected to the right people, they're not going to go after you. The issue is not that Aaron Rodgers has an opinion. The issue is Aaron Rodgers, from the media's perspective and the establishment's perspective, has the wrong opinion and must be crushed and punished utterly so no one follows his lead. But it's actually starting to have the opposite effect now. So good on Aaron. Cambridge University students, athletes stripped naked for risque calendar. I don't know what this has to do with sports or education or why they're doing this, but it's Europe. So there you go. And finally, NASCAR execs express sympathy for the reporter who fabricated "Let's Go Brandon" chant. NASCAR, are you done punching yourself in the nads? I mean, the Bubba Wallace thing was bad enough, but the "Let's Go Brandon" thing, you didn't even have to step into that. Okay? You could have just ignored it. Just ignored it. These people are so dumb. But they're corporate, and corporations have been infused with wokeness, usually through their HR departments, and usually through the female employees, because they tend to be the ones that get caught up in it first. Not always, but mostly. Tends to be mostly female and mostly woke females. And they tend to be in HR because that's the perfect place to hector everybody. HR, back in the day had some amount of power. In extreme cases, certainly they had power. But now, with the woke, they have ultimate power. They have ultimate power to destroy your career because you're not woke enough. You said something that was triggering in the meeting on Tuesday. We might have to make you take a diversity class. We might have to re-educate you. That's what this is turning into. And corporations who buy into it get woke and go broke. So go broke, NASCAR. maybe we can have some other league of guys who drive around a thing and go real fast and turn to the left. And that's it for me, Tony D, and that's all I know about sports, which is not very much. And we'll see you in the next one. Check us out on Bitchute and Rumble for a news blast and a Hollywoke hot take. Joan and I will see you tomorrow.